Every school kid knows that arachnids are dangerous.
You had very specialized bugs who would do specialized things. They came up with the warrior caste. These were the infantrymen, the foot soldiers of the bug world.
We knew that warriors were going to be like our Chevys. That's the bug you're going to use everywhere, right? If you're going to have a bug in a shot, it's probably going to be a warrior bug.
They seem not to have any other task than to fight. So they are the protectors of the planet, if you want so. And these are the ones that are in the foreground, like with ants. You know, you have warrior ants and you have other kind of ants. You have ants that help in the nursery, and other ones are doing fighting. We only designed the bugs that were the fighting bugs, because we felt that the movie was about that.
We designed the warrior bug to be a disposable bug. You know, it had to be very light geometrically. It had to have a pretty standard kind of a model. The animators had to be able to, you know, have standardized like Bible studies for it. It had to have very few, actually no elastic membranes, so it was designed to be jointed. Our maquette crew was able to do a great job of actually taking every single part in our little sculpture and make sure it did go through the range of movement that we would need, so that when we put it in the computer and built that model, it would already be proofed out. So the warrior bug was our standard bug. We kind of hit that one first and, you know, sort of developed it to be super lightweight.
Yeah, the big boom shot when the arachnid army first shows up at Planet P was actually our very first shot on Starship Troopers, and I thought it was the beginning of the end. I thought, you know, if every shot is like this, we're absolutely doomed, because it was a big boom up shot, and once the camera boom got up there, the camera was just going like this.
We had to do this shot, and it was not stable. And said, okay, we shoot it and let's see, Phil Tippett has to handle it somehow.
Mark!
Problem was, it was always very windy there. And on a very extended crane arm, if there is some wind, the camera is not really stable. The whole crane starts shaking a little bit.
The perspective through the lens made the background look like it was locked off, but it made the foreground look like these guys were on a boat going up and down. And it took weeks of just matching everything in just to make sure that we were able to stabilize the background so we could put the bugs in.
All this shakiness, this was sort of strictly forbidden because it created terrible problems, how you know, to shake all the 1,000 bugs in exactly the same way. Frame by frame by frame by frame, he has to correct whatever the camera is doing. So we had markers in the landscape, which were taken out later on, of course, that you were able to follow even these little camera movements.
Sometimes we'll have a big cardboard stand-in that roughly has the shape of the characters, and we'll bring that in to roughly match the shape and perspective of the characters. A lot of times that gets very unwieldy. Most of these bugs were huge, and to have a big object that you have to move around is kind of prohibitive, so we have these things that we call the monster sticks, which are 12 to 15 foot 2x4s to indicate the approximate space that the object is in, so that Yost and Paul can frame to that, and we'll usually walk it through the shot, do a walkthrough, and film that.
A great deal of the work in Starship Troopers was in replicating what Phil and his team had already designed in the computer world. He would supply us with small-scale maquettes, small-scale sculptures, and we actually cut those all into separate sections and took measurements and proportionally did blow-ups. So it was a very mathematical procedure to arrive at the proper scale of blowing up those creatures so that they looked entirely accurate once they got to the full-scale realm, which is what we were involved with. And we had a whole team of mechanical people, hydraulic experts and computer experts, because we needed to rely on the computer to help sort of be the buffer between mechanically what our creature could do and performance-wise what the puppeteers are trying to make it do. With the design of these creatures, it was entirely probable that the attacking claws in these creatures could come right in front of their jaws and they could bite down on their own claws. Hydraulics are fast enough and powerful enough that it would have been major damage, so we had a program that was designed so that certain appendages had priority over others. So, for example, no matter what the puppeteers were bent on doing, it was entirely impossible. Once that claw started to come over, the jaw would automatically move out of the way, no matter what the puppeteers were doing.
Action!
There were also safety systems that were built with the actors in mind that had to perform around these things.
Cut that! Cut!
It's one thing to watch the movie, it's another completely different thing to actually be there. It's very unnerving on the set, or in the case of a lot of our early rehearsals, to be that close to something that big and moving that fast, and with the power of hydraulics, there's a lot of responsibility that goes into it.